So, insulation. Insulation was an adventure. So I can't start talking about installation without thanking Gina. Gina has been a subscriber for a very long time. She's one of my Patreon members, and she offered her yard as her yard driveway, her home, as a place I could come and do the installation. I mean, she basically had an open invitation, but the problem was it was a significant distance away from where I was working at the time. I was still in the middle of doing my show, and so I was staying pretty close to where the show was for gas saving reasons and all of that. And so it was like, I don't know, maybe like an hour drive. I also at that time still had my small storage unit. I hadn't bought the big one, or changed over to the big one. I went through about 3 storage units during this build just because there were things I needed to keep outside the box truck in order to be able to do what I needed to do. And so I wanted to take up the offer, but I couldn't take up the offer without some days off. And luckily I achieved getting those days off. Because nothing, I would not be where I am today if I had not had that weekend at Gina's place. Like, it was everything. Like, it changed everything about this box truck, and my ability to, like, move forward. Like, I did not know how I was going to get the time to get everything out of here in order to insulate everything I was using to live in here without a few days and a safe place to really just empty out the box truck and do the installation. And luckily Gina provided that for me, and luckily I ended up getting a weekend off from the show that I didn't expect, and I immediately reached out to her and was like, hey, you know, is the offer still open? Can I come out there? And so I went out there, and yeah, let's just watch some footage from installation. So my journey to insulate the box truck started the night of May 7th. It was a Friday, and I was going to have the whole weekend off, and luckily I had been granted space to do my installation. But I hadn't pre-bought my insulation, and the reason I hadn't pre-bought my insulation was because I didn't have anywhere to put it. At that point, I only had the small storage unit, and I was really resisting getting a bigger one. Unfortunately, right after this weekend, I was going to have to change that situation and actually pursue a bigger unit for what was going to come next. But point being, I had not bought insulation because I wasn't sure when I was going to be able to insulate, and I just assumed I was going to be able to find it when I wanted it. Well, I was very wrong, and if I could go back in time, I would have had myself buy the larger or upgrade to the larger storage unit sooner and have pre-bought my insulation and just have been ready to load it into the truck, as opposed to going shopping for it literally the night that I was going to drive up to Gina's house to be able to actually insulate the truck. So I am at my second Home Depot. According to online, this Home Depot is going to have all the insulation I need. I was able to get 3 sheets of what I need in my normal Home Depot, and they literally were so cleaned out of insulation. And like, I've had good experiences up to this point. Hope this guy isn't going to take away all of my my pallet racks. I parked over here so I could actually get it. Let's see. Hopefully not. It's a Home Depot employee. But I had a hard time finding insulation. And I know right now, like, everybody's doing home renovation work and stuff, apparently. I thought everybody was broke. I thought, like, The COVID took away everybody's jobs. Where are they getting all this money for building supplies? Especially with them being marked up. And I was shocked. Like, the sheets that I bought cost me over $100. And it's just the sheets I need for the ceiling. So I'm worried going in here to get the stuff I need for the walls. I also have some Frost King rolls, which I'm going to be using for the curved and the awkward areas, mostly right here in the front cab area. I'm also going to use it to insulate the garage door, which a lot of people I don't think realized I was always planning to do. I was always going to insulate that garage door. So it's, I don't know. I'm just like, please let this Home Depot have what I need, because I have a long drive ahead. I'm planning to drive to a truck stop tonight, edit a video, try to get that posted, and then drive the rest of the way to my subscriber's house and do insulation. I had this crazy idea I was going to do insulation and the wall coverings, but besides the fact I definitely probably can't afford it after I buy the rest of my insulation, I don't have any room back there. Like, it's going to be really tricky to figure out how I'm going to sleep tonight. I'll figure it out. If I move some things around and shift things vertical, like, it's not a good way to drive because they'd fall over, but I can definitely shift things a little bit more vertical on my way there and still have enough room on the floor to sleep. Mickey does not like it. He's feeling very crowded right now. He keeps just going underneath the driver's seat. And if we're at a truck stop, I won't feel like I can put up my window cover, my RV window cover that covers around the vehicle, and I won't feel so pressured to close the door between here and the cab, so that if he wants to just hang out underneath the seat, he can. I do have to make sure he has access to his litter box, though. It's going to be a challenging couple of days, and I don't really know what's going to happen or how well things are going to go. But with any hope, by Monday, I'm headed back to Oakland, and I'm insulated at the very least. And then all I need to do is buy the actual wall that's going over the wall. But I don't even know when I'm going to be able to afford that, because insulation is breaking me. I'd already decided that whatever this Home Depot had, I was going to make it work. So I basically grabbed what I thought might insulate the truck. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't exactly what I planned, and I had to mix and match some foam board, but I had every confidence what I had was going to fully insulate the truck, and that I was absolutely going to be broke for a bit. With everything all packed up, it was time to start the night drive to my truck stop nighttime rest spot. Sleeping conditions that night weren't going to be ideal, but what else was new? And the next morning, I drove out to Gina's and began unpacking the truck so that I could insulate. When you start looking into insulation, you can get so lost down the rabbit hole. Basically, I chose my foam board insulation based on two things. One, its availability, i.e. my ability to go in the store and pick it up as opposed to having to order it and wait for it to arrive. And two, the fact that I have a box truck, so for the most part, I have straight walls with a few exceptions. And after I found the roll-on, stick-on insulation that I use for those very limited areas, those awkward areas, those areas where the foam board just didn't work, I just decided to go with that and see if it'll work. This is the first vehicle I have insulated. When I had the minivan, I didn't do anything to it except put a bed in it and some stuff to live with while I was living out of it. So containers for storage, a bed. I didn't rip it apart. I didn't pull, all its innards out and get it down to the metal. So I never insulated the minivan. Obviously, I didn't do anything to the car that I lived in before the minivan. And for the Chevy van, it was a passenger van, so it kind of had the same thing going on as the minivan. The previous owner, when they did their build, love you, by the way, bro. I need to send you an email. Did basically the same thing I did with the minivan, which was get it to the state where it had a bed and storage on the inside so you could go camping in it or live in it or live out of it or whatever. So this was my first time really dealing with insulation. So I got way lost down that rabbit hole. And then I kind of pulled back and I said, you know what? I'm going to grab what's easy and what's simple and what makes the most sense for the box truck. Trying to figure out what is the quote unquote best can leave you just paralyzed and not doing anything, and I've been perfectly happy with my choice so far. All right, now that I've said all that, because just in case you guys were wondering why I didn't get into the technical and nitty-gritty and all of that, is I'm not the person to go to about that. So let's just get to the YouTube business. If you like this video, like it. If you like this channel, subscribe to it. If you're curious about what's going to happen next, subscribe. And the second part will just be about my adventure in actually doing the physical installation. As I started to put this together, I realized it was going to need to be broken up to tell the story, because that's what I'm about. I'm about telling the story of how I got my box trucks to where it is now, not so much how to or guidance, just a story of how.